Now what that was I did like 20 pumps. Give me just a little bit of pressure. I'm going to turn the lighting tab straight up. I'm going to turn it open. Let it run just a second. So I hear it gurgle. Go back. I primed this. Now I got a little bit of fuel up in there. Okay. Now I'm going to light it, and whenever I light it, then I'll pump it up about 40 more times. Okay. Lit. Now I pump 40 times. Okay, that gives me 60 pumps. Put my windscreen in right quick. So again, I pump 20, making sure the tank's at 0. I uncap it, let the pressure off when I'm done every time. So I gave it 20, then I follow it up with, once it lights, 60. I let it run for just a minute. Down there in the bowl, you're going to see some bright orange. That's showing it's burning a little bit rich. Once it's gone for like 30-60 seconds like it has, I'm going to turn that jet down. There we go. Now, today, we're going to do a quick and easy stew. I'm going to start with my bush pot. In the very bottom, I'm going to put about a teaspoon worth of black pepper. I put my pepper in first. I'll put my salt in whenever I'm ready to season it at the end. But right now, I'm going to put that in there. Next, I'm going to clear off my workstation right quick. Now, our first ingredient is going to be the pre-made up rice. And this is microwave rice, which means it's already cooked and it's just like leftovers. We've got a quart of chicken stock. That's going to go in now. One quart of chicken broth. Homemade chicken stock does better, but this will work. Should give you about a half a pot. Now we'll go ahead and put that pot on the heat. Now we're going to open up and put our rice in there. Like I said, this is that pre-made up microwave kind. Just crumble it up into it. It means it's already got a moisture content. It's fully cooked. Now we're going to add 4 of these 2-ounce packets of white meat chicken. As you can tell, I went by the Dollar Tree. Leave the chicken juice that's in the pouch. Go ahead and put that in too. That's chicken fat and stuff like that. That's going to add flavor. Now, since everything here is cooked, all we're doing is heating it. But that's not the end of the story. Food chemistry is about creating it and allowing the juices to have time to chemically mix with each other. That's the reason Grandma's cooking was so good. because she'd put it on and let it go for 4 or 5 hours while she was doing other projects. So this is really going to be good, but it'll be much better after it's had time to cook and simmer. So if I was going to be making this for dinner tonight, and here's the difference. If I make it real watery, it's chicken soup. If I add less water, and less broth, and just make it more thick, then it's chicken stew. That's just the difference, how much liquid's involved. And then finally, to give it a little bit of color, we're going to take a can of veg oil. We're going to pour the excess veg liquid off of here because that would dilute the taste a little bit. We're not wanting to do that. Now, suppose you had some raw ingredient that you wanted to cook along with this, like a raw piece of squirrel meat or something like that. Well, put your broth in first, bring it to a boil with the meat, and let it boil till the meat is nearly done. Because you know the rest of this is already done. So all it's got to do is just thoroughly heat and simmer. So we're now going to pour off the excess. And we're going to open that up and dump in our veggies, just like that. So to recap, we've got chicken stock, white meat chicken, rice, and peas and veggies. Whole thing did not cost $5 at the dollar store. Now, we give it a couple little bitty stirs, break up that rice. Get a little better look in there. Of course, this could be done on a campfire. In fact, it'd be better on a campfire, and I'll tell you why. Time. See, I'm now tearing up that block of rice, stirring her around. I may have a tornado siren in the background you can just hear. It's clouded up, but hadn't rained. We shall see. Maybe we'll get to live tape Blackie cooking while we got a tornado. That'd be cool. There we go. Now, we put the lid on. Put it centered over that fire. And we let it go. We'll be back with it in just a minute. Cooking can be quick and easy. It can be long and slow. It's all up to you. I look at my ingredients. Now, if I was starting out with dry rice, I'd need to cook that first, wouldn't I? If I was cooking something with beans or something like that, well, that might have to have soak time, etc. So you set up your meals, mental process of how long each component's going to take. Now, all of this stuff was pre-cooked. It's a grab and heat and eat. So by combining it, now we've got the raw elements there, but we want the time for that to come to a good boil. And I want it to come to a good rolling boil. Turn that heat up a little bit. I want it to come to a good hard rolling boil for at least, say, 10 minutes. Then I'm going to drop it back down to just a simmer and give it, say, another 15 minutes. So in about 25 minutes, it'll be ready to go. Now, could I eat it right now? Yes. But I have not allowed the flavors of those individual components to marry yet. There's some complex chemistry that goes on with food. And so when grandmother and maybe your mother, in my case, and them, they would go in there right after lunch, and they would, you know, clean up the kitchen from eating lunch or whatever, and they would put on dinner. The peas, the butter beans, the whatever, the meat that had to slow roast. It's going to be in the oven for 3 or 4 hours, slow roasting. They believed in low heat, long time cooking tasted better, and they were absolutely right. Low heat, long time does taste a lot better, and it's because the flavors had time to blend, okay? How many of you make chili and stuff and say it actually tastes better on the second day? Absolutely it does. But for us going out and camping, and as say got the family with us, and we want to make a quick meal, especially on a cold day, something like this is very good at that time because it's very quick and easy to make. Now add to this bread or crackers or some other, you know, side to go with it so you're eating and biting. Cornbread muffins would be good. And those can be things that you made up or at home or brought with you as well. If you're just not a baker, not a cook, bring it with you. How about leftovers? How about I go ahead and take that leftover rice and stuff out of the fridge and put it in individual quart Ziploc bags, and then I freeze it. And I'm going to go out with the family on Saturday. Well, when I pull the cooler in there Friday night, I won't pull my stuff out until that morning as we're about to leave. I'll pull my food out of the freezer, put it in the cooler, put ice on it. If it's going to be the next day. If it's going to be today, I'll pull it out of the freezer. If it's already frozen, I'll put it in the fridge so it thaws out, and then put that in the Ziploc bags into the cooler so that it's, you know, cold like it's refrigerated. Excuse me. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Goldenrod's blooming right now. Sometimes it tickles my nose. So all we're doing is allowing what's already been prepared to mix. If I'm bringing my leftovers, I'm going to put them in a pot and cook them this way into some sort of stew or whatever. Same idea. It's already cooked. Then all we're doing is a heat and combine time. Okay? That combine time is very important because it allows those flavors to meld. Now, I have no doubt that that rice and all is kind of bland by itself. Notice I put that pepper in there to begin with. I want that pepper and stuff in there moving around. I didn't put salt in yet. Salt comes in right at the end. I will taste it and salt it and stir it and give it another 5 minutes to dial salt in. It's too easy to over salt, and then you got to put potatoes in it to get rid of the extra salt. Hot sauce, things like that. If everybody enjoys it a little spicy, at the very end, like that 2 or 3 minutes before I'm going to serve it up, that's when I'll dash in the hot sauce and stir it up good, or the jalapenos or whatever, and let that have time to give it just 2 or 3 minutes. Vinegar and stuff quickly will influence the rest of the meal. And I don't want it in there terrible long because it would cook it out. So I don't put it in at the beginning. Bay leaf, stuff like that, I would put it in there. If there's some sort of green leafy vegetable that would cook in a comparable amount of time, I would put it in here now and let it go. If it's going to take longer, it goes in first, and then I add the rest at the end. Just give her a stir. She's at a good rolling boil now. I'm going to stir it up good. I got my little tube of spices. Now I'm going to put about 1/4 teaspoon in there. And yes, I have a very calibrated measuring device. Now I'm going to back that down. I just want it to be a good boil, but not going to boil over. Stir some spices down in there. Now, keep her covered. Now, smelled like rain. I combine and put my stuff in and allow it to have the time to mix like I've reiterated. That's the most important part. What about if I just want to bring some barbecue from home or something like that? It's already cooked, but whoop. See, started to boil over. Let's tone that down. Right there. There we go. One of the advantages of COLAMANs, you can quick adjust. She's come up to a good hot boil. I've got all the temperatures there. Now she's just rolling and mixing. How long? 15 so minutes. Now that she's had about 5-10 minutes of good boil, I'll give her 15 more minutes or so to let the stuff kind of blend together. See. Really, as soon as it comes to a good rolling boil, you're ready to eat. So if you've got, you know, a time window, we got to hit it this way, you could go ahead and eat it. Would it be as good? No. It hadn't had time to blend, but it is edible. Of course it is. Every one of the components is edible. But back to what I was saying. Let's say I got a big old bag of frozen barbecue that it's family barbecue I put up in the freezer, and it's a brick, you know. Well, how am I going to heat that up and not dilute it? Leave it in a quart freezer bag and set it into a pot of boiling water. Bring the water up, put it in it, and let it go and watch it. Everything in there has to reach boiling temperature for the water to start boiling. So if that's a block of ice, it won't. It will thaw out that meat and spread it out, the heat inside of it, till it's good. Once it comes up to a boil, drop it down to a simmer and let it simmer 5 or 10 minutes. Then take the bag out, open it up, and stir. It should be fully prepared, ready to go. Redneck microwave. By immersion heating it, I can heat that up to make sandwiches or whatever. And as I've said many times, that keeps a clean pot for me, because all I did was boil water and put a bag in it. At the same time, suppose that now I've got this soup going and this is hot and everything. What if I had something else, like, I don't know, gravy that's going to be going on the side? Or how about peach cobbler? I could put it in the bag and sit it in that soup and heat up the peach cobbler. Let the soup be the cooking medium. It ain't got to be plain water. If I'm already cooking this, why not? It isn't going to influence it. And quart freezer bag, name brand quart freezer bags are completely food safe, and they have to be, because you're going to be, they're expecting you to put boiling stuff into it and then put it in a freezer. So it's got to be completely food safe and not contaminate the food. So therefore, it's a good way to go. Now, I'm going to turn off the camera. We're going to give it about 10-15 minutes to have time to fully come up, and then we're going to turn the camera back on and take a look at it. Be right back. Here we are. Peas, carrots, rice, chicken. Smells really good. Now, I'm going to take a little sample just to see what it tastes like. Okay, does need quite a bit of salt. I'm now going to take my salt. Now I've got, and I'm going to put quite a bit in there. 3 measures. Now we're going to give that a minute for those flavors to blend. Then we'll taste it again. My grandmother taught me, she'd watch her sister, and she said that she would taste it, say it needed salt. She'd throw a pinch of salt into it, stir it one time, taste it, and said it needs more salt. She never gave the salt a chance to melt and percolate through the equivalent, and that's the reason everything she had was always too salty or too whatever. It's because she never gave it time for that mineral to melt and get in throughout all the liquid and kind of spread out a little bit. Alright, now let's taste it. See how she's doing. Perfect. So I'm keeping it down on just a low simmer boil. Not much to it. Now that I've done that, I will turn it off, let the gas run out, and it'll turn itself off, and dinner's ready. How about a bowl and crumble up some cornbread in it and put this over the top of it? Or have fresh muffins or fresh rolls to go with it. Really good on a cold day is homemade rolls to go with it. But in any case, it's fast and it's easy. This whole thing didn't take me just a few minutes. Definitely, woo, piece of rice. Definitely less than 30 minutes. So at camp, I could generate this and be able to feed me and a cohort. Now, what's left over, if it's just me, I could put it into a Ziploc bag and put it back in my cooler and have it tomorrow. It'd be fine. Or I could go ahead and make this up ahead of time and bring out there. If all I want to do is just heat it up straight. Either way, cooking does not have to be a chore. It should be enjoyable. It should be enjoyable whenever you do it, and it should be enjoyable when you consume it. Only if you got a family kitchen, here's a rule to remember. Only one cook. You can have many helpers, but only one cook. And only the cook seasons the food. Everybody don't take a turn throwing in there. Only the cook seasons. Everybody else can help out, okay, especially in family. But only mommy or daddy, whoever the one's got the spoon doing the work, they're the one that does the seasoning. Keeps you from ending up with a way too salty or way too much pepper or way too whatever. I hope you enjoyed this, guys. Now I'm going to take this and take it in, and me and the wife are going to take it for dinner. I hope you've enjoyed it. A lot of you have been asking me, Blackie, do some more cooking videos. So I thought I'd throw this one together for you right quick. So do me a favor before you go and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.